Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Let's get into some catch ups. Let's catch up on some things. Well, we got an article here about Maxine Waters, and she actually said some words that they're saying that could be grounds for the defense to appeal a verdict. Waters, who has been a long fighting rod for criticism from the right, was already facing a torrent of Republican criticism for her comments over the weekend, urging protesters in Minnesota to get more confrontational if Chauvin is not convicted. So several GOP lawmakers called for her expulsion from Congress. So Chauvin's attorney asked the judge to declare a mistrial over Waters' comments, arguing that she had prejudiced the jury. So Judge Peter Cahill denied the request, but said that Waters' comments were abhorrent and that she may have handed the defense a lifeline anyway. And he goes on to say that I'll give you that Congressman Waters may have given you something on appeal that may result in this whole trial being overturned. Cahill said as arguments concluded Monday and the jury began deliberations. Waters appeared at a racial justice protest Saturday night in Brooklyn Center, a suburb not far from Chauvin's trial, is taking place, which has been roiled by protests after a police officer killed Dante Wright, 20, this month. We've got to stay on the street and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational, Waters told reporters when asked what would happen if Chauvin's trial, which is wrapping up this week, ends in acquittal. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business. So the Republicans wanted to call for her punishment and have her to be sanctioned. But Nancy Pelosi of California, she's a Democrat, if everyone knows her, she said, no, I don't think she should apologize. Maxine talked about confrontation in the manner of the civil rights movement. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, he's a Republican from California, accused Waters of inciting violence and said that if the Democratic majority in the House does not do anything to censor her, I will bring action this week. And then Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a Republican out of Georgia, who herself has been the subject of calls to be removed from Congress, introduced a resolution to expel Waters. Representative Lee Zeldin is a Republican from New York, called for Waters to be immediately removed from Congress, and other GOP lawmakers called for a sanction to hold her accountable. Representative Waters is a danger to our society, Greene, who was accused of helping encourage the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol. Waters said Greene had distorted her remarks. I'm not worried that they're going to continue to distort what I say, Waters told the Griot. This is who they are, and this is how they act, and I'm not going to be bullied by them. So conservatives said her comments encouraged more violence and rioting. Waters' allies said Republicans were trying to distract from right-wing violence, like the January 6th riot at the Capitol, by picking another fight with one of their go-to targets. What she said is nothing new. She's always said the same kind of thing. She has always stood up for the downtrodden, said Reverend Jewett Walker, a politically connected African-American pastor in Los Angeles who has worked with Waters for years. There are people who do not like that. So what I'm going to say with this right here is that, when they say that, she needs to be sanctioned. She's a danger to society. Well, first of all, Greene was accused of encouraging the attack at the Capitol. And so who's a danger to society? Maxine Waters or Greene? And it's funny how they can say what they want and cite these riots, and you have these Karens going around keeping up mess in stores and spitting on people and citing violence on other people and stealing in stores, because it's something occurrence that happened a few weeks back with me, where a lady started some nonsense with me, and I had to let her know that if you hit me, I hit back. So all I'm saying is that people are funny when it's something that they it's funny how they can get away and say whatever they want and feel like they're the privileged group, but soon as blacks start to stand up for their rights and to fight back and use their voices, then all of a sudden they're citing riots. They need to be removed. They need to, they're a danger to society. But we've seen it play out over and over and over with these race soldiers that are a danger to society, that continue to kill black men and not be held accountable for their actions. So with Maxine Waters, she is a woman that has spoken out. She's always spoken out very boldly. She doesn't have a problem speaking out very boldly. She spoke out boldly when it came to the Rodney King in 1992, with that situation. She spoke out, and so she's going to always speak out, and that's who she is. And so people want to silence folks for speaking out, but I don't agree with that. She needs to stand firm, and we need more people to use our voices. I'm not saying to go and encourage riots and cite riots, but we need more people to use our voices when it comes to standing up for us. We need more cultural obligation. We need to come together in unity. And I believe that that's something that a lot of us been preaching for so long is, coming together in unity, being unified and having more cultural obligation. And some people have even nicknamed her Auntie Maxine, because she is 82, and so they can say what they want to say with that being said with that. And then there was an Austin shooting, where this black man, he killed 3 people. He had left 3 people dead in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas on this was Monday. They're bringing this article, but it happened over the weekend. News release that Stephen Broderick was scheduled to meet Amanda Broderick for a visit with his son. The bodies of Amanda Broderick, 35, Elisa Marie Broderick, 17, and Willie Simmons, the third, 18, were found near 2 cars that appeared to have been in an accident. They didn't specify how the 2 teen victims were connected to the shooter. The couple's son, who was present during the shooting but physically unharmed, was later located away from the scene, where he was turned over to APT officers. Stephen Broderick was arrested. And so he did comply, and he's now actually in the Travis County Jail, and he has been charged with capital murder and a second-degree felony, according to information on the jail's inmate website. And Broderick actually is a former Travis County Sheriff's Office detective who resigned from the department last year after he was charged in a sexual assault case. And he was arrested June 6, 2020, and released on bail the same month. So it's unclear if he has an attorney or not. And so they're actually currently looking into and investigating that case. And then I want to get into the 2 women from the Dollar Tree that tried to spend a $1 million bill at the Dollar General store. This was in Maryville, Tennessee. 2 women were caught trying to spend a fake $1 million bill at a Tennessee Dollar General store earlier this month. An employee of the discount store in Marysville reported April 5th that the women tried to use the counterfeit fortune to purchase several gift cards. So Blount County Sheriff's deputies responded around 10 a.m. and spoke with one of the suspects, Amanda McCormick, who says she received the $1 million bill in the mail from a church, but could not provide the church information. The smoking gun, this was obtained, by the smoking gun, and McCormick claimed she was using the money to buy care packages for people experiencing homelessness. The other woman involved in the incident told investigators that she had no idea McCormick had the phony bill and was only riding along while McCormick did errands. The women were ordered not to return to the Dollar General and were released without charges. Deputies took the bill as evidence. So check this out. The largest bill ever printed for public circulation in the U.S. was a $10,000 note, according to the Federal Reserve. The last $10,000 bill was printed in 1945, along with other since discontinued denominations of $500, $1,000, and $5,000, and was issued until 1969. So that's very interesting that they were in the store, and she said she wanted to do something for the homeless. But if you're in the store by, gift cards, I guess for the homeless can go in there, and use the gift cards to purchase what they needed. But it's very interesting that these women were in there. And when I bring this up with this particular article, the nature of this is that they were arrested and given a warning not to go in the store anymore. And the $1 million counterfeit bill was was confiscated, But however, George Floyd, when he was accused of using counterfeit money, and it was far less than that, look what happened to him. It led to pressure on his neck, knee on his neck for what, 8 to 9 minutes, somewhere in between that. And now Derek Chauvin, former officer Derek Chauvin, is facing, he's also, he's actually in a trial now, and they're supposed to be having jury deliberations this week as we speak. So it's interesting how different, it doesn't say the race of the women in this article, but it's different how they were only given a warning and told to never return to the Dollar General store, and the $1 million counterfeit bill was confiscated, and they went on their merry way. Again, George Floyd was, handcuffed and, ruffled up and pressure on his neck. And now look what's gone on. He's deceased. And, so it is a big difference in how black people are treated when it comes to, minor incidents or things where they can be given a citation or a warning. It's a big difference. So when people say, you all need to stop saying there's no difference, saying it's a difference when it's not, we need to stop saying this and that, and we should, stop using the race card and all this. But over and over, we still see the difference, the racial disparities. We see the judicial disparities, the legal disparities. We continue to see those things. So no, we're not going to stop talking. No, we're not going to stop protesting. And no, we're not going to stop fighting to get laws changed and to let people know what's going on in society. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. But some people seem to not know the definition of those two, and so they continue to do wrong. So we will not stop the fight. We need to keep moving forward. And so, and then I came across another article where this former Memphis wide receiver coach was placed on leave due to Title 9 sexual misconduct complaint. So anyway, it's the former Memphis wide receiver coach John Simon was placed on administrative leave after a sexual misconduct complaint was filed against him. And so according to emails released, the University of Memphis to the commercial appeal through an open records request, Simon was placed on leave with pay February 22nd, pending an investigation by the university's Office of Institutional Equity. So if you follow sports, he was a wide receiver coach for Memphis. And the thing is that he went on and resigned. They don't really get into the details of the incident, and the person who made the claim. It was all put in an email, but they don't really bring it forward. So he went on and resigned after a meeting was set up, and he resigned. So another black man that's being accused of sexual assault. So maybe something will come out later on with this, with this situation. So right now, that's all I have on that. So again, if you follow sports, then you will know who Simon was. He's the ex-football assistant coach for wide receiver. And then we want to go and we want to go ahead and talk about this 7-year-old girl. This 7-year-old girl, she was traumatized after her hair was cut. She is an interracial child, very beautiful little girl. And so the father came out and spoke that his daughter has been traumatized after a school librarian cut her hair. Now, the father of a biracial 7-year-old girl is outraged after a librarian at Gannard Elementary School in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, cut his child's hair. Jimmy Hoffmeyer saw the unwarranted new look on March 26 when his daughter Journey came home from school with her hair cut within inches of her scalp. And this is the Black Wall Street Times reported. The incident happened 2 days after Journey's classmate had cut her long curly hair on one side as she was heading home on the bus. Hoffmeyer took his daughter to the salon after the bus incident and allowed her to choose a new look. I know how today's society is, the father said. I wasn't going to let my little girl go to school with a half of her hair cut off. So he was even more outraged when a similar incident happened a couple of days later. And he says, I don't think there are words to express how I felt that moment. As he saw his daughter crying when she came home, the furious father first suspected that another student had once again cut his child's hair. But Journey said it was a librarian that did it this time. I couldn't believe it, Hoffmeyer said. I jumped in the car to go to the school, but realized it was spring break. I couldn't get a hold of anyone, so I called the cops. The school secretary later told the parent that she was in utter disbelief, but the principal wouldn't be available to talk to the father until after spring break, a week later. Hoffmeyer demanded consequences when he was finally able to talk with Gennard principal Marcy Stout. She apologized and said she didn't know why they would do that. And this is the way I kind of, in my mind, she apologized and said, I don't know why they would do that. That's kind of how I got that from her, sounding like that. I don't know why they would do that. Like she, just so oblivious to what happened, And then so he said, I asked what was going to be done about it. And she said, they would probably get a mark in their progress folder or something. And that any further actions would need to go to the superintendent. So I told her I want the superintendent to call me. However, the discussion with Superintendent Jennifer Verlager didn't make the situation any better. The superintendent called and sounded very insincere and short, Hoffmeyer said. She asked, if it would make us feel any better, I would have the teacher send you I'm sorry cards in the mail. That kind of nonsense. I know a lot of parents that have went through things in the school system. I'm sure you have heard them talk like that, and it just only frustrates you and agitates you and probably angers you even more when they come out with, well, I'm sorry, I'll get a sorry or an apology card out in the mail. That's exactly what that sounded like. And as the father considered pulling his daughter out of the school, the principal tried to convince the family to stay, offering to follow the child around campus to make sure nothing happens to her. Who wants to be followed around campus like they're a prisoner in a public school? And so the father asked, how is the solution to punish my kid? He felt like his kid was being punished for what they did to the kid. And that's usually what happens when we, people of color, file complaints. They try to make it our fault, and they try to make us the one that's the bad person. And it's like reverse. They're going to punish us for speaking out, punish us for complaining, punish us for not going along with it, punish us for being violated. And that's what I see a lot. I've seen that a lot over the years, and even raising a child myself, I saw how they tried to do some things, and I stuck up and stood up and said, no, we're not going that route, and this is how I'm going to handle it, because you're not going to change to turn the tables and reverse situation when it's clearly what's going on here. So I can understand where this parent is coming from, and if you have children, I'm sure you have. The enraged parent added that the school has refused to let him see footage from the bus incident, telling him there is nothing to see. So if there is footage there, then there's obviously something to see. Whether it's what we interpret it to be or not, there's still something to see. Because if there's footage there, then it's something to see. If there's no footage, then there's nothing to see. But again, if there's footage, there's something to see. Whether we determine how minute or whatever it is, there is something to see if there's footage there. And so as he continues to demand clarity, Hoffmeyer has been proudly sharing photos of his daughter on social media. And he says that he will update us as it goes on. But now the family is getting help from the National Parents Union, which is seeking a civil rights attorney to handle the case. No child should have to experience this type of humiliation or ordeal because of their hair texture, style, or type. The adults entrusted with her learning crossed the line, didn't protect her, and had no desire to be accountable for their actions. And that's what the National Parents Union said. And I agree with that, because when you send your children to school, as a parent, you do have a reasonable amount of expectation from the school to protect your child. And one of them is not cutting your child's hair. So this librarian had no business even putting scissors to this child's hair. And that would be considered what? Assault, battery, that she would take some scissors to a child's hair, and then they take it and make it just try to decrease the situation and make the experience less than what it traumatically is. This is really just blatant, it's wrong. And to continue on, the father did say he believed the incident. He did not say he believed the incident was racially motivated. But the organization is demanding from Michigan lawmakers to enact the Crown Act, as Blacktivity previously reported, Senator Cory Booker announced the Crown Act in 2019 to ban discrimination based on hair texture and hairstyles. The first bill passed in California, then New York. Now, this little girl's hair was actually beautiful. I seen the picture in her because it's floating on social media. Although I can't show the picture, because it is a child, I wouldn't want to do that, but it is public information. But however, this child's hair is actually beautiful, and sometimes people are just envious, they're just jealous, and they don't like that, so they turn around and they, do things to harm other people. And this is just really sad. And it says discrimination against black hair is discrimination against black people. Booker said in 2019, implicit and explicit bias against unnatural hair are deeply ingrained in workplace norms and society at large. This is a violation of our civil rights, and it happens every day for black people across the country. And I can truly say that that is a true statement. I believe that when braids were not as much was as not much possible. Was not at the time, they weren't that popular with when you get braids in your hair and you have the extra hair braided into your hair, the extensions, and it wasn't that popular. And there was a organization that wanted to tell this. It was a director, and she told this employee that she couldn't wear braids and she had to take her braids down. And another employee that was a black female got involved and she said no. This is a story that was told to me. I didn't actually witness. And she told the director that she couldn't do that. And so things like this happen all the time about you can't wear this, you can't wear that, you can't wear your hair a certain color. And I remember an incident where I had on a bright colored pantsuit one time at work. And I was told I couldn't wear that color. But I spoke up and said, that's funny because our executive director wears bright colors all the time. And they moved on with that. So see, it's one thing where they treat you one way, but then when you bring out, well, wait a minute, this is policy here. So if I'm violating policy, then the executive director that we all report to under our department, then she's out of policy. Am I right or wrong? So we have to stand up and use our voices in a professional manner, but we need to hold people accountable to policies, procedures, laws, and we need to bring up these laws, and we need to say, wait a minute, isn't there a law in place for these type of things? Because a lot of times they want selective memory, and the law only applies to, certain groups of people, and things like that. But then when it comes to us as people of color, then the laws don't, we need to apply and bow down to the laws, but yet and still they don't, or vice versa, or the law doesn't apply to them, but it applies to us. I mean, it just never ends with this. And I stand with this father on this. You have no business touching this young girl's hair. You have no business doing anything to this young girl's hair. Remember the case of Andrew Johnson, a young man who was forced to cut his locks before a wrestling match in New Jersey in 2018. And then a black mother last month in Chicago demanded change after her 4-year-old son was regarded as a dress code violation. So they need to stop with all of this. When it comes down to black hair, if the hair is clean, is groomed, leave people's hair alone. They have a right to wear their hair, according to, what they believe is best for them. And I just think that when it comes down to this, we have been ostracized so much that we need to wear our hair a certain way. And even makeup is one of the issues. Even makeup, I was told one time that, I wasn't complete because I need to wear makeup, that I'm always dressed professional and I look good from my clothing to my shoes, and my accessories, but I didn't have makeup on, and it's like, but I don't need to wear makeup. I mean, that's my choice as a woman, if I want to wear makeup or not. That is truly my choice. I'm a tomboy at heart, when it comes down. As a child, I still play sports. I love sports, and so I don't feel I need to wear makeup. I have makeup. And if I want to put makeup on and lipstick, I'll do that. But no one should tell me that I'm not complete without makeup. God created me, and I'm as complete as they're going to get. Am I a work in progress? Absolutely. But I'm complete when it comes down to me as a person. And I had to have some conversations with some folks. And I just said, you need to move on with that. And matter of fact, you shouldn't be wearing makeup because look how beautiful you are as a sister and you have all that makeup on your face to accommodate and to try to appease people that you feel you need to, when really your skin is beautiful. But I guarantee you, if she had to remove that makeup, they probably would have talked about her too and put her down because she had beautiful skin. Because there's a lot of haters in the world, and there's a lot of people that are envious of beautiful black women, because naturally black women are beautiful. And I'm saying that naturally black women are beautiful in their own right, and we come in different shades. We have different hair textures. Yes, we do. And so if we choose to wear our hair natural, that's up to her. That's up to us. That's up to you. I mean, we need to walk in our beauty, the beauty of color, walk in it, stand in it, you know what I mean? And keep it moving, and hold our heads high, and because we need to even tell our young daughters that they're beautiful. Yes, you're beautiful. You're beautiful in the skin you're in because God created you that way. And we have got to stand on that and tell our young girls and that they're beautiful. Tell our young women that they're beautiful. Yes, you're beautiful. Your hair is beautiful. Take care of yourself. Teach them morals and values and etiquette, how to handle themselves, how to be a lady, how they should be treated. Those are things we need to get back to when it comes down to raising our children and grandchildren and talking to them and being mentors and encouraging. And even young men, you're beautiful. You can pull up your pants, do what's right, use good language and English, and make sure you know how to read. We need to start really getting back to the basics of all of that. And this young girl getting back to that, she's at a new school, but she's struggling because she's struggling to cope with the incident that happened to her, and so she hasn't even been eating. She's having trouble sleeping, and she's isolated and withdrawn now because of what they did to her, because, now she doesn't look the way she felt she wanted to look because someone took that away from her. That's the whole thing. If, we have a right to feel comfortable in our skin, and we get up each day and fix ourselves up the way we're comfortable looking. And then when someone takes that away from us by force or, without our consent, and this young child was not able to give assent, assent, because she was a minor. She didn't give assent, and she definitely couldn't give consent because she was a minor. The parents would have had to give consent. So she was too young to even participate in something like that. That was forced up on her. They took advantage of her, and they violated her in so many ways. And this is absolutely unacceptable. And this school needs to be held accountable for what these people have done to her. And that's the thing, and so she's going to get the help she need from her parents, and everything like that. But I lift up this family, and I lift up the young child, because she has a right, to wear her hair the way she feels comfortable, and for them to take that from her and cut her hair is absolutely wrong. So you guys, thank you for stopping by the channel. I hope you have a beautiful day today. I'll be back with some other videos, and God bless you on today. Thank you for tuning in. You like, subscribe, share the video. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. And I again appreciate every one of you that have been riding with me, that takes the time out to listen to my videos. I try to be encouraging and positive and bring you information just, that's out there, that's going around, that we need to still be awoke and stay woke on these measures and these issues that continue to plague the Black community and people of color. So again, God bless you all. Thank you on today for stopping by. Peace in the streets.